hell ain't got it but me.
What's going on, fanny pack? So my tripod broke while I was in Mexico. So right now I'm just holding my phone in my hand. I haven't gone to buy a new tripod. And I haven't ordered a new tripod, which I should have already ordered. But yes, you guys see my dog in the back. So today I went to go get my nose re-pierced this side because, come here, you want to say hi? Papa. Okay.
Psych! You thought!
So I don't know, I feel like I'm gonna do a sit down video with you guys and just talk about life and just like everything, you know? So like right now I'm very frustrated. Like, not frustrated because like I'm going through shit. I'm not really going through anything besides just like doing me and stuff, but I just feel like I don't have fulfillment in my life again. And by me saying that, I mean it as in like I feel like I'm not doing what I love and I'm not happy with my job. If you have me on Snapchat, you guys know that I called off on Monday, and I decided to stay home and just work on me and my businesses and my YouTube and my merch. And I don't know, you guys, like I guess I'm just tired of the medical field. It's not really for me. I decided it's not for me. What are you looking at? I'm like stuck. Like, I don't like starting over sometimes, especially like a new job, because I'm like, what if I don't like it, and what if I decide to change careers again? So in a way, I'm like searching for a job again. I'm not gonna quit my job anytime soon unless like I find something that I know I love or whatever. But then sometimes I feel like just saying,
fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
and resigning and just like, I don't know, you know, figuring it out as I go. But then again, it's like when you're in a situation like that, you feel like, why would you do that when you have bills and all this shit? And you know, even if you have savings, sometimes like savings is not enough, and it's not gonna get you through, you know, months and months of surviving off without employment. Yeah, my backyard literally feels like you're at like a forest getaway and stuff. It's so like yeah, see, like back there we have plants. My dad has a whole garden back there, which, you know, the yard needs to get mowed and everything. He has some more veggies and stuff that he's growing over there. Actually, fun fact, we have a marijuana plant like right over there. But anyways, back to topic. Yeah, so like, and then sometimes when you feel this way, it's like you feel hopeless. So like right now, that's how I'm feeling, and I just don't know what, you know, what I need to modify in my life to make myself feel like I'm good again. Papa, he answers to Papa. Papa, come here. Look, you guys, he loves this. Good boy, good boy, good boy. Go get some water, you're thirsty. Good boy. I feel like right now I've decided to, I mean, I'm still gonna continue doing what I'm doing. I'm gonna continue working. I'm gonna continue like working on my business and stuff like that. But I'm also looking into hopefully sooner or later like officially relocating. I don't want to do the same thing, like whether it's the county over or the state over, because I'm literally like 5 minutes from Wisconsin right now. So I was thinking going towards Milwaukee. I don't know, it's a lot. But, and then I'm also like done dealing with
toxic ass people.
To be real with y'all, the other day, like a week ago, almost 2 weeks ago, I was on Facebook and I made a status, and I'll pop it up for you guys so you can see it. And it said that I was going on the deleting spree because I was tired of seeing a lot of people on there. I was trying to see people on there. So people were like laughing at it and like reacting to it, not laughing at it in a bad way, like, oh, you're a joke, but laughing at it is like it's funny because a lot of people gonna get deleted because you're tired of them. Because people be feeling the same way. So I already don't like having a lot of friends on social media like that, like my personal social media, like Facebook and stuff. So what I did was I started deleting people with like 1,000 something friends, brought me down to 900. I deleted some more, brought me down to 800, and right now I'm at like 7 something, almost 800, right? So yeah, so a lot of those people were friends and they were family, and a lot of people I was cool with, and a lot of those people I wasn't cool with. I got rid of a lot of people, and like some people started hitting me up. So, and all I want to say is that if you're my family and you're watching this video right now, I really don't care how you feel. I don't care how anybody feels. At the end of the day, if I feel like I don't want to have certain people in my life, whether it's on social media or in real life, then that's how it's gonna be. A lot of people think that I'm like so stuck up and that like I'm such a like bitch and this and that, and they just think the worst of me because some people are scared to approach me because they say that I already look like an asshole, or like I'm so stuck up and all this and that. And it's not even that, honestly. I just really want to start over, want to start fresh with everything. And by that I mean like cutting everybody off, cutting off toxic people. And it's sad to say that a lot of the times what we don't realize is that toxic people are your own family and your own friends and like people around you. And I think people are like just scared to cut people off because of what they got to say, because of like what people got to say and shit like that. Me personally, I don't. Like, I'm at a point in my life where I don't give a fuck about what nobody has to say. People already know how I am. I mean, for one, I'm super low-key. I'm trying to be a lot more low-key, especially with family and stuff. I don't know, I just feel like myself I'm very different than a lot of my family and a lot of my friends.
Yeah, I'm different. I'm different. Yeah, I'm different. Middle finger up to my competition.
I don't know how to say it. Like, I just don't feel a part. I don't want to say I'm the black sheep because I feel like I'm not, but at the same time I feel like I am, because like everything I like is so different. I don't know, it's just like, for example, we're Mexican, right? But I'm like the one to least listen to Mexican music, to least hang out with Mexican friends, or like to least like Mexican things. And then I'm also the one to like date African Americans, or I can't say any other race because pretty much African Americans are mixed with Mexican and African American. But anyways, like I'm just like that outsider, I guess you can call it. I don't know. And I don't know. It's like I'm telling you guys, I don't know what the words to like describe this, but like at the end of the day, my point with this whole thing is just that like you can't be scared, you can't be afraid to just cut people off, whether you're cool with them or whether you're not cool with them, whether they're family or not. Because like I said, sometimes the most toxic people in your life can be your family. Matter of fact, they are your family. Like for example, my relationship with my parents is not the best. I'm not saying it's the worst, because I know other people have that like super horrendous or almost no relationship with their parents. But at the same time, it's like I everything that I do, I know a lot of my friends are very close, or a lot of people that I know are very close to their families and very close to their moms especially, or to their dad. And honestly, not I. Like, I don't tell them everything that I do. I can't. Not because I do bad things. I don't do bad things. I just do crazy shit. But I don't feel growing up like I ever established that trust, you know, in your parents like that, like the way some of you guys do. And for me personally, like I don't have a confidant like that. My mom's not my confidant. My dad's not my confidant. I don't know. That's something that I want to do different with my kids. It's like I want to make sure that they know that I'm there for them and that I'm going to support whatever they want to do. Because I feel like a lot of times our own parents don't support the things that we want to do and the things that we're pursuing in life. So, you know, it took me a minute to kind of, like, for example, when I got this new job, you know, I told my parents, like, I was so proud of myself because it's hard to get into this job, into this company. It's very hard. And, you know, I told them, like, hey, I'm going to be commuting, just to let you guys know, give you guys a heads up on my new schedule. It's going to be very different, so I'm not going to be home all the time, or I'm not going to be available all the time, because my previous job, like, literally they were able to hit me up and I was able to leave if I needed to. And, like, I was always on the road or whatever the case. But like this new job, I'm like, I can't. I'm not gonna be around as much. I'm not gonna be available. It's about an hour drive with traffic or whatever. And I can't just pick up and leave because I'm gonna be the only one there. And they're like, oh, well, how much are they gonna be paying you? Which I don't like to discuss my finances with anybody, much less my parents, because I don't feel like they need to know that stuff. But you know, I give them an approximate number. I didn't tell them exactly how much, because I feel like when people see that you're getting paid a decent amount of money, like, you know, your salary is pretty decent, they automatically assume you have hella money and they expect more from you. So, and that's what I've noticed with friends and family. Like, they think that you're made of money. Like, yeah, I got a fucking tree in the back of my house growing the money for me.
And today I will show you how to grow money on trees. Probably when you were growing up, your parents told you that money does not grow on trees. And they were partly correct, because money does not automatically grow on trees. However, it does grow on trees with very minimal effort. So I will show you exactly what to do. So first what you have to do is you get the 2 pence coins, then you have to place them all around the bottom of the tree. So let me do that first. Okay, as you can see here, I have placed the 2 pence coins all around the tree, and then you have to take the water and water all the coins, so this will make them melt into the ground within a couple of hours, and they will be absorbed by the roots of the tree. Okay, and that's it. All the hard work is done, and all you have to do now is go home or go wherever you want to go for exactly 2 days. And when you come back in 2 days, the money will be growing on this tree. So getting closer, and yeah, I can already see. As you can probably see, look, there is a first £5 note, and as you can see, there's a lot more. And so there's nothing more left to do other than just starting to pick up the money.
Fuck. So anyways, yeah, so I told him, and then my dad was like, oh no, you should get something closer because it's too far. I'm like, first of all, I drive. I'm grown, and I'm gonna do what I feel is best for me, and if I feel like that's best for me, then that's best for me. And I'm like, plus I'm getting mileage reimbursement, so it's not a problem. So yeah, I do get mileage reimbursement. I do get a decent pay. Hours are long. I work 10-hour days, you know? It's crazy. And like I rotate weekends, so obviously not the ideal schedule, but it's not the worst either. They kind of try to convince me to not take it. I'm like, it was too late because I already took the job, and isn't nothing gonna change. So I went ahead and I did it. I'm about to be 6 months in to this job, and it is what it is. Like, yeah, it's decent. It's not the worst job. It's easy, but at the same time, I don't feel like, me personally. So let me tell y'all something. When you're from the suburbs, or when you're from like an area where we're from, like it's the hood, you know what I'm saying? We've lived in the hood before. We know what it's like. I grew up with the hood. You know, went to schools with people from the hood. And if you know what I mean, like I'm not trying to say anybody's ghetto or ratchet or none of that, but what I'm saying is like, you know the type of environments that we grew up. Maybe we're not from like the hood where like everybody's like guns and all this and that, and just always like so much crime, like maybe in the south side of Chicago, whatever the case, which I'm not comparing the south side to our burbs at all, but if you know what I mean, and I think a lot of you understand where I'm coming from. So like I grew up like, and even in Florida, when I used to live in Florida, I used to live in Tampa, shout out Tampa, in the neighborhood that I used to live in, like, let me tell you how it was. We used to live in these apartments, right? And it was our whole neighborhood. It was a whole street. It was houses on both sides and apartments and stuff. That whole street plus blocks down the street, we all knew each other. We had blacks, we had whites, we had Hispanics, like as far as Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, we had everything. So we grew up with everything and everyone. And we were all, everybody would come over to our apartments because we had like a big old field. They would play football because football is huge in the South. So, you know, the girls would sit there and watch the guys, and the guys would try to talk to us. And like, you know how it is, you know what I'm talking about. And like, we were cool with everybody in the neighborhood, and it was dope, it was chill. So anyway, that's kind of like how I grew up. My whole point with this is like, when you come from a background like that, and you go work in a place where like an area where I work in a predominantly white Jewish neighborhood, or neighborhoods, because I rotate. When these people try to come at you and say, you know, a bunch of shit to you, it's so hard for somebody like me who grew up in that type of environment to just fucking let it go. So it's like you get to the point where like you want to say fuck these people. I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I feel like saying, and if I get fired, I get fired. I don't give a fuck. And when you're dealing with people like that who try to come at you, and you know you're at a point where like, fuck this job, just because you're from a predominantly wealthier area than I am, and you're sitting here driving your Audi, or you're driving your little Range Rover, or you're driving your little Maserati or your little Tesla, whatever. People feel so entitled. You know, just because you feel entitled doesn't mean you're gonna talk to me however the fuck you want to talk to me. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like, I'm not putting up with that. Like, you think I'm gonna put up with that shit in my neighborhood? No. What makes you think I'm gonna put up with it here just because you feel entitled? Nah, you good. So like, and it sucks because sometimes when you work in these type of companies and stuff, like you don't feel appreciated, you don't feel included, you feel so left out, because it's like, the only thing I like about this is that you work with diverse people. It's very diverse, but these people talk so much shit about each other. It's more toxic than your own neighborhood sometimes. And the thing is, like, you know they be talking about you, but because you don't hear it, you don't say it. So there was this incident before I went to Mexico at work. But this had happened before recently, like the way I feel towards this person, right? So this day, it's a Wednesday. This Wednesday I was supposed to work at one of our other locations, but I went to my regular location. I forgot it was Wednesday. I mean, it didn't even feel like Wednesday. It was felt like Tuesday, and I was off the day before, so I really wasn't in tune with myself yet for the week. So anyways, I go to work, and then me and the girl that showed up later figured out that, oh, I was supposed to be at the other location. So I'm like, all right, cool, can you call him and let him know that I'm on my way? It was like 9:05 and we start at 9. There was 3 people waiting in line to get checked in to be seen by the provider. And the provider, when I walked in, was coming out. And the provider was like, oh, I'm gonna let the practice manager know. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Do what you gotta do. I'm here. It was a mistake. It was an honest mistake. Cool. So I go, I sign in, I check in the patients. The patients were okay with it. Nobody gave me issues except the provider. So then it was an off day for me. It was a bad day for me, right? So I was already a little annoyed that the provider was giving me a hard time. And I understand, like, I recognize it was my mistake. I should have double checked my schedule before going to work. So what I did is I was like, whatever, I'm gonna email the practice managers anyway and let them know the situation so that they're aware in case anything. At least I let them know ahead of time, so I'll be responsible and I'm gonna let them know what happened. So another patient comes later on down the day, like a couple hours later. And I was like, I'm just gonna send one whole email because anything else happens, I'm just gonna put everything all together and I'm gonna see how she acts towards me. Because if anything, I'm gonna let them know. I don't hold my mouth for nothing, y'all. Like, I literally will tell you exactly how the fuck it is. Like, I don't give a fuck. Even if, like, I'm telling you, I don't care who you are, I will tell you straight up how I feel. I'm very blunt. Okay, so then this patient comes in, I'm checking the patient in, and the patient gives me their name, and so I'm like, okay, cool. So, you know, did my screening for COVID, whatever. Oh, on top of that, our locations that we were at, that I work in, I didn't even know that we started doing COVID testing there because we only did it at 2 super sites. So I wasn't even aware. So I had to call one of my other coworkers and figure it out. So I checked this patient in, and the patient was there for COVID testing. I didn't know how they were working. I didn't know if the patient had to see the provider, or I don't know if the patient would just get put on the lab schedule, whatever. So I added the patient to the lab schedule. Then the provider comes out mad as hell, almost yelling at me. Luckily, they had already roomed the patient, or else the patient would have heard. And the provider comes out, and the provider is like, you know, staring at me. She's like, you're supposed to add the patient to my schedule. And I look at the provider. Because by the time the provider came out, I already had called one of my coworkers and asked for help, and my coworker helped me out. When the provider came out, it was already fixing the error in the system. So I look at the provider, and I'm like, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm fixing the error. I'm like, and then the provider is like, and then I'm like, I didn't even know there was COVID testing here because I just came back. I've been off for a few days. Again, the provider just stares at me at the door, and then the provider just walks back into the clinical area. I was annoyed. I really was annoyed. But I didn't let it bother me too much. I was like, you know what? I don't let a lot of shit bother me. And so I was kind of like, whatever. So then another patient comes in, like 30 minutes later. And the patient, you know, I'm checking the patient in and do my screening and all that stuff. So for this patient, there was 2 files that were under the same name. The same first name, different last name. So, what you may call it. So I'm checking the patient and do my screening, whatever. The patient gives me the first. I only saw one chart with this patient's name. So I read the name back to the patient. Patient said, yes, that's me. Mind you, it was also an older patient. So I'm like, okay, so I register the patient. They room the patient. Then the provider comes back out. She comes straight up to my desk. And thankfully, again, there's no patients in the waiting area. And then she's like staring me down again. And then I'm like, yes. And the provider's like, you checked in the wrong patient. And then I'm like, what do you mean? Isn't the patient's name whatever? And the provider's like, that's not the last name. And I was like, what's the last name then? They tell me the last name. The patient, when I said the name, said that was them. But the provider's just staring me down. And then asks me, do you not check IDs when they check in? And I say,
nope.
Literally, that's how I said. I said,
Nope.
only when it's a new patient that I'm registering them. Besides that, I don't need their ID. And again, with the staring. And then the provider starts walking away and is like, I'm gonna let the practice manager know.
Okay.
And then that's it. And so then I felt like something was gonna happen. That's why I hadn't sent the email out yet. So then I send the email out to the practice managers and I let them know the situation. And I'm like, every time that I work with this provider is the same thing. Like, they're always so rude to me. They're always staring at me, this and that, whatever. And I'm like, I was so pissed, you guys. Like, I had not gotten that pissed in a while. I wasn't pissed at the fact that that whole situation had happened that morning. I was pissed at the fact that I couldn't say anything back, because if I did, I could have gotten in trouble. I could have got fired or whatever the case. And like, I just had not had so much anger in me lately because I was good. Like, I'm doing good, you know? And I was ready to cuss that provider out. I texted my sister and my friend, and then I texted my coworkers, 2 of them that I'm really cool with. And I told them, like, y'all, I'm about to walk out. Like, I cannot do this no more. Like, I'm about to walk out. I'm about to get fired. And like, I started crying. And thankfully there was no patients there. But I started crying and I'm like, fuck. Like, what am I, like what do I do? I can walk out right now and lose this job. Then like, you really gonna let this provider be the reason you lose your job and get out of body for? Like, nah, like, don't even do that. Like, just relax. And so yeah, so I did. So I ended up staying, and I was like, this provider has one more time to say something to me and I will snap. And then later on throughout the day, the provider was trying to be super nice to me and this. I'm like, nah, fuck that. Anyways, long story shorter, I never heard back from the practice managers about the situation, because I ended up telling them basically that I don't feel like that's right. I'm like, everybody makes mistakes, and I don't feel like the provider should have went to those extremes as staring me down and trying to yell at me still. So my point with this is, like, I just feel like if me personally, I feel unappreciated, I'm just gonna like chuck the deuce up, you know what I'm saying? I don't got time for that. Like, I don't. But right now, you guys, I've decided to, I mean, I'm still looking for a new job just in case. I just want to drop everything and like, just, you know, I've been watching this YouTube channel called Yes Theory on YouTube, and like, they've been inspiring me so much. Like, just say yes, like, just do shit. Like, there's risks and everything, but you gotta take a risk sometimes, because if you don't, did you really live your life to the fullest?
Nope.
Are you really living your life to the fullest?
Nope.
I doubt it. Yeah, I need to check them out. I'm gonna put their link down in the description. And then I just felt like this was a rant, and I just want to know, like, do any of you guys feel this way? Have you felt like you just don't know what to do anymore? Or like, how do you feel, like, have you cut out any toxic people from your life? Or like, what's going on with you guys? So just like another quick little story. So like, yesterday I was at work, right? And it's crazy that I've been feeling like this because there was an encounter that I had with one of the patients there, and the patient told me like they love my spirit. Basically, we had like a little mini heart to heart, and like, it was crazy to me because like, you never know who you're gonna run into and what they're gonna tell you. This patient literally was like saying they were gonna pray for me, and like, she didn't know the whole situation. She didn't know nothing. She just knew that I was doing YouTube on the side of my lash business, because she asked me what I do besides work, and she told me, I love your spirit and I love your mindset, and always reach to be an entrepreneur. Don't ever feel like you need to work for somebody else. Man, when I tell you I needed to hear that, I needed to fucking hear that. And like, there was another patient that I did the most minimal thing for her, and she was like, God bless you. She was like, I'm gonna stop by and bring you some lunch one of these days, and this and that. And like, it just felt good to, like, you know, it just felt good to have those conversations with these people that I've never met before, that don't know nothing about me. You know, I just want to thank all of you guys for watching this and for tuning in and for being part of the pack, and for the ones that have been supporting me since day one. And I just want to thank you guys so much. I'm just like very appreciative for all the support that I am getting, and the people that do believe in me, and the people that keep sending me these messages of encouragement. I thank you guys so much. I know that I'm not alone. I know that a lot of people feel the same way that I do. I also just want to say, if like, you guys ever feel like, I'm always open to hearing about what you guys are going through, or getting advice, or giving advice, like any of that stuff. Like, if you guys ever feel like you need to talk to somebody, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm always available. Even when I'm at work, I'm on my phone, because that's how much free time I have, and that's why I have so much free time to post online all the time. But yeah, definitely feel free to reach out to me. I just want to come together, and I want to encourage people to follow their dreams and do what they love, and just Be you and don't give a fuck what anybody has to say. And if you gotta take a risk, take the risk, because I promise you at the end it's worth it. I never would have seen myself doing YouTube in a million years. I always wanted to, but I was always shy, and I was always like, I'm not gonna do it, like I'm not gonna make it. But once I started thinking about the real reason and the real purpose why I'm doing this, it's like numbers don't fucking matter. All that matters is that people see the same vision as you. It's just so much, y'all. Like, oh my god, I'm gonna get emotional.
You psych! You thought!
No, I'm just kidding, but yeah, anyways guys, so I'm gonna catch up with you guys pretty soon. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you guys haven't subscribed already. If you like the content, you know, make sure you go subscribe, and make sure you guys turn on your post notifications so that you do get notified every time that I do upload and you guys won't miss a video. I have to go finish watching Star Wars right now with my brother because I'm doing a video on Star Wars. It's exciting, but stay tuned for that video too, because you guys will see my real reactions of Star Wars. I'll see you guys in the next video.